Hey guys! Now, in the last video we saw how to log in and log out a user. In this last part we are going to see how to reset the password when the user forgets it and how to delete the user's account. We are going to begin with a forgot password page. So let's click on the link to get there. In this page we have just one input field where the user inserts his email. If the email exists in the database, we are going to reset the password and send it to the user with an email. Let's see how we do this. Again, this is only HTML and CSS what we see. If I click on the submit button, nothing is going to happen. So let's go to my editor and make this page working. I have opened the forgot password.php page in which I have the forgot password form. Inside the form, I have an input field with the name attribute set to email. I have the submit button and a link to go back to the login page. So let's go to the functions.php file and write the password reset function. The password reset function takes as an argument the user's email. Now, the first thing that I will do inside the function is to connect to the MySQL server and the database. Next, I will trim any white space from the beginning and the end of the email's value. Next, I will use the filter var function to validate the email. If the email structure is not correct, I will return an error that the email is not valid. Next, I will check the database if the given email exists. Again, I will write a prepared statement to be as secure as I can. The question mark is a placeholder for the email. Next, I will bind the question mark with a given email. The letter S stands for string. Next, I will execute the statement. Next, I'm going to fetch the result set, and I will extract the record as an associative array and store it in the data variable. If the email don't exist in the database, the data variable will hold the value null. Next, I will check the data variable in an if statement, and if the value is null, I will return an error that the email doesn't exist. If the email exists, I will create a random password and I will send it to the user. I will create a string that contains the numbers from 0 to 9, all letters from the alphabet in uppercase and in lowercase. Next, I will create a variable and set the password's length. I want 7 random characters from this string. So I will use the string shuffle function to shuffle the string. Next, I will use the substring function to take the first characters from the shuffled string. Now the new pass variable is holding the random password that we are going to send to the user. Next, I'm going to write the code to send the email. I'm going to set a subject that says password recovery. And in the mail's body, I will say you can log in with your new password and I will add the new generated random password. Next, I will add the headers. Now in the from header, you have to use your existing website's email address for this to work correct. Else the email will end up in the spam folder or not sent at all. I have set here the from header to admin. This is not valid, but because I'm in my localhost server, it will work. In a live server, this will not work. You have to set an email address that belongs to the website. Next, I will use the mail function to send the mail and store the returned value in the sent variable. The mail function returns true on success or false when something goes wrong. So I will check the sent variable, and if its value is false, I will return an error that the email is not sent. Else, if the mail is sent, I will hash the password with a password hash function and I will update the database. Again, I will use a prepared statement to update the password. But this time, to see if the query is successful, I will check the affected rows property, and if the value is not 1, I will return a connection error. Else, I will return the string success. Now let me quick explain something about prepared statements. When we update, insert or delete data from the database, we use the affected rows property to check if the query was successful. But when we're selecting data, we have first to fetch the result set with the getResult method and store them in a variable. In our case, this is the result variable. And next we're fetching the data as an associative array from the result variable. That's the difference when we're selecting data. Okay, and we are done with the password reset function. Now we have to go to the forgot password.php file and complete the process. Again, I will go to the top of the page and open PHP tags. I will require the functions.php file so I have access to the password reset function. Next, I will check if the form is submitted. If this is the case, I will call the password reset function and pass in as an argument the submitted email, and I will store the returned value in the response variable. Next, I will go to the bottom of the form and use the response variable. Inside an if statement, I will check if the response is the string success. If it is so, I will tell the user to check his email account and use the new password to log in. Else, I will show him any error that occurred. And last, I will go to the inputs field value attribute and set the value to the submitted email. Now let's go to the browser and check our code. Remember that in the first video, when we register the user, I insert my email so I can test out the forgot password action. So let's insert my email and send me a new password to log in. I will press the submit button and we get the success message. Now let's go to my email account and copy the new password so I can use it to log in. Nothing is in the inbox, but I bet the message is in the spam folder. And here it is. As I said, if you don't use a real email address in the from header, the mail ends up in the spam folder or will not send at all. Now let's copy the new password and log in. The username is George and I will pass in the new password. Nice. Our password reset function works as expected. Okay, we are done with the forgot password action. So let's move to the last task that we have to do, and that is letting the user delete his account. In our secure page, we have a link that says delete account. If I click on the link, nothing happens. So let's go to the functions.php file and write the delete account function. As we did in all the functions, first I will connect to the database. Next, I will use again a prepared statement to delete the user from the database. In order to delete the right account and not somebody else's account, I will search in the database for the user's username that is stored in the user's session variable. Remember that every user has a unique username, so we will be sure that we're deleting the right account. Next, I will check the affected rows, and if it is not one, I will return an error. Else, I will destroy the session and I will redirect the user in the delete message.php file. And that's it. Now let's go to the account.php file and complete the process. Now there will be a two-step process for the user to delete his account. Let me paste the code and explain it to you. Here we have our delete account link and has a query string of delete account. If the user clicks on it, we will catch the query string and display the user a confirm message if he is sure that he wants to delete his account, and we display a link to click on. Now the confirm link has a query string of confirm account deletion. So let's go to the top of the page and catch that query string. So if the user confirms that he wants to delete his account, we will call the delete account function. I hope this made sense. Let's see this in action. Let's click on the delete account and we see the confirmation message. And if we click on the delete account link once again, the account will be deleted and the user will be redirected to the delete message.php page where he sees a message that his account was deleted. Now let's take a look at our last file, and that is the delete message.php file. There's nothing fancy here, just a confirmation message and a link to go back to the register form. Now, a last thing that I forgot to show you is the database connection error that we store in the db log file. So let's go to the config file and mess with the database connection details. Let's put a wrong password in the password constant and hide any server errors. Now let's go to the register form in the browser and press the submit button. There is no error from the server displayed, but we know that there is an error in the log file. Let's see it. And here it is. Nice. But I noticed, despite that we have a connection error, the function runs and displays the all fields are required error. This is not good programming, so let's fix this. Let's go to the functions.php file and check in an if statement that the value that the connect function returns is not false. Now let's check it out. Nice, we don't see any error. That means that the function stops running if there is no connection with the database. And again, we see the server's error in the log file. Now let's do this inside the other functions as well. We have to fix the login user function, the password reset function, and the delete account function. Now let's go back to the config file and set everything as it was. And let's run our register form one last time. Nice, we see all fields are required. And this means that we are connected to the database and everything works fine. And in this point we reach the end of this 3-part tutorial on how to code a secure login system. I hope you like it. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.